Yo, I respectfully disagree podcast, episode 142, 42 or 43. It's not going to be long, man. Tonight, I got to talk about this LSU Iowa national championship game because internet going crazy right now, man. And I feel like the media and just the general public is about to ruin what may have been one of the greatest NCAA women's tournament that I've seen. I can't speak for a lot of people, but like the women's tournament by far, in my opinion, has been better than the men's. Granted, I understand, the San Diego State game and all that last night came down to a buzzer beater. UConn smacked Miami. Like, at no point in time were either games exciting, in my opinion, up until the last 4 or 5 minutes of that first game. But in terms of the women's games were amazing. Like, hands down, in my opinion, the women's tournament was better than the men's. So, what is being lost in all of this at this point in time is Angel Reese's "You Can't See Me" reaction to Caitlin Clark. And it's got the whole country up in arms right now. I've been sitting here on social media, and I'm looking at how a lot of these outlets are reporting what happened. And then I'm just sitting there reading the comments. Shout out to Cash on the Facebook Live. The women's tournament, hands down, better than, yes, facts. Like, to me, I think it was amazing for women's basketball. It lets you know that the WNBA, they have a bright future ahead. I enjoy women's basketball. I sit down and I watch it in the summertime and all of that. Shout out to the young lady from Louisville Cardinals. She's a tremendous player. And it's like everybody was sitting down watching those games. And it's all going to be watered down because now it's become a race issue. And in my opinion, I might ruffle some feathers tonight, but that's why I'm turning the mic on, because it don't sit well with me. So for starters, I'm going to say this. And hopefully, if anybody that's watching or listening, correct me where I'm wrong. I don't think coming into this tournament, there was a person on this planet that did not like Caitlin Clark. Everyone knew that she was a tremendous basketball player. I'm looking forward to the storylines for next season, LSU versus Iowa leading the pack. Absolutely. I was telling my wife that earlier. I didn't realize that Clark was only a junior. So I feel like the headlines is going to be, is she going to use that loss to fuel her to get Iowa back to this stage, blah, 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 blah. You know how it goes. But what I was saying was, like, nobody had any kind of ill will or anything negative to say about Caitlin Clark, to my knowledge. The more you watched the tournament, the more excited you became. You were infatuated with her style of play. We all loved it. It was entertainment. Shout out to Sneed, who's watching the live, and I'm not trying to troll or throw any shade towards him, but it was like when we were watching the Louisville game here in my house, that was an exciting game. After the game was over, I tried to troll Louisville fans here and there just because of what they done when Kentucky lost, but that doesn't take away from the fact that that was an amazing game. Even to the point to where when the game was over, Sneed, you on here. I even sent the little GIF with the little "you can't see me" thing because of what I saw Caitlin do in that game. I saw it with my own two eyes, and it's like you read the comments on social media, and a lot of people, it shows you that they were not watching. They're not paying attention to it because Caitlin is an arrogant basketball player, in my opinion, but in a good way. We all get on the court, talk trash, gloat. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. I didn't feel like she ever crossed those lines of, like being competitive and being that person that deserved to get punched in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, she made it fun. She kind of had an edge to her. You know what I'm saying? We all love a player that talks trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about Curry shooting the three, turning away without, you know what I'm saying? You don't even watch the ball go through the basket. Like, that to me is the ultimate sign of disrespect. But nobody's ever told Curry that it's unsportsmanlike. It's bad sportsmanship. You shoot a three and you turn and look at your opponent. So when I'm sitting here watching Caitlin, it's like she's putting on the entertainment aspect of playing ball. So I was cool with what she done in the Louisville game. But what I started paying attention to the most is how some of that narrative started shifting when they were playing South Carolina. She's competitive, and so is Reese. This is exactly what women's basketball needs, must-see TV. Absolutely, bro. That's why I was like, man, pedal to the metal trying to get back home from St. Louis because I didn't want to miss that game. Shout out to Rose on the live. Some of that arrogance is part of the game. Absolutely. So that's why I was cool with everything that I had seen thus far. Like, that's what made me want to tune in to the next game. I was like, I can't wait to watch Iowa play. I was on my social media. Caitlin's, dog, she's cold. She's cold. But then the South Carolina game, in my opinion, that's when you started seeing some of the racial tension. Like, you could feel it, bro. And it was like, now you looking at how the game is being called, and then you look in the crowd and you see how the crowd is reacting to it. And at that point in time, I feel like Caitlin was the success story. That's why I felt like everything was being geared towards watching her win a national championship. Like, you could just kind of sense it. Like, everybody's rooting for her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the story. And somehow it turned into whites versus blacks, Iowa versus South Carolina. Absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's when I first noticed it. And it's like, you look at the crowd's reaction when different things were being called on South Carolina in the whole arena. I'm talking about boos. And I'm like, wait a minute, bro. Like, this is almost becoming bigger than basketball, bro. Like, this is deeper than basketball. So then after the game was over, you know what I'm saying, for those that watched the press conference, it's like, my first thought was like, why is she going off on this tangent? But then when you thought about the comments from the coach from Iowa, oh, this is like going into a bar fight and this and that, and it's like, why even make those comparisons? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's when you start seeing things for how it really was. And you knew heading into today's game what the trying to make sure I word this correctly, because like I said, I ain't trying to make people upset, but at the same time, I feel like it needs to be discussed, because this is what it's snowballing into, because social media is going nuts right now. I was just arguing with some folks on TikTok because it's now turned into they're going at Angel Reese. Oh, Caitlin's going to be a phenomenal athlete. 5 years from now, Reese is only going to be making $30,000. She'll be washing windows and doing this and doing that. I saw something where somebody was like, she's going to be on welfare. And I'm like, bro, that right there is why I have this mic on, because it's like, people all the time ask, is America still segregated? Is it really racism still going on in 2023? And it's like, bro, you may not get the clear-cut, blatant racism that some of our elders experienced, but there is a racial undertone in a lot of things that goes on. And in my opinion, I feel like this is the best example, because everybody was watching that game, because in my opinion, it was a toss-up. It wasn't a black versus white thing from my eyes. And I'm going to speak for most people that enjoy sports. Everybody wanted to see an amazing game between two amazing teams. Most importantly, two amazing standout athletes between Caitlin and Angel. That's the only reason why people were tuned in. But then somehow You saw how the game was being called early. Like, they were coming out aggressive. I love the fact that everybody got involved. Everybody was contributing. And then all of a sudden you started seeing little ticky-tack calls here and there. And again, I like to pay attention to the crowd's reaction. So then you started seeing where the girls from Iowa were starting to get in foul trouble. Crowd going crazy. You go on social media going crazy, talking about they trying to rob Iowa and blah, 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 blah. So then you felt that shift where they was trying to even out the calls. So now Angel picks up her second foul, which I thought was trash. But then, like I said, the rest of the team stepped up. So at that point, I'm in my mind, I'm like, bro, LSU really got this in the bag. But at the same time, I'm like, dawg, Caitlin ain't going out without swinging. So the third quarter, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just felt it coming. And we all know Angel's been talking trash all year long. Like, this is just who they are. Like, that's why I don't understand all the labels that people are trying to put onto her. Social media bullies can't wait for moments like this. Instead of seeing two phenomenal women compete, they see a great player in Caitlin versus a team full of future welfare recipients. And that's exactly the tone that's going on right now, bro. And that's why I'm like, I'm not letting this one ride, because whatever handful of people do listen to the podcast, whatever, I want it to be known where I stand at on this. Because like I said, originally, I didn't see nothing wrong with it. Because I saw Caitlin with my own two eyes going around taunting. Even with the South Carolina game, she's throwing her hands up behind her ear. She's jumping up on the thing, raising her jersey up. That's anybody that's celebrating postseason play. I've seen it too many times. Help, we laugh and talk about Pat Bev jumping on the scores table when Minnesota clinched the little play-in last year. That's part of sports, bro. That energy, that passion, that's a part of it. And as long as nothing became physical, I didn't see anything wrong with what Reese done. Because even when they punched their ticket to the Final Four, they all got the little markers and they was drawing on their fingers, and they've been doing that. Nobody had an issue with that until today. And that's why I'm saying, in my opinion, it most definitely has a racial undertone behind it all. Because if you look at the public outcry, you don't even have to say it, because it's right there. It's right there in front of your face. Black people are cheering for LSU. White people are cheering for Iowa. That's what it's turned into, where the majority of people who love sports were actually cheering for both of them. You were cheering for two amazing athletes. Whoever won, I felt like, deserved it. There was no wrong, you know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't go wrong with either team. But somehow, some way, it got flipped into this. Yes, she did. She waved one of the players off against South Carolina. Absolutely. And that's what I don't understand. How did that not come off as disrespectful to the game or unsportsmanlike? The player that you're guarding is out here shooting a three. You're sagged all the way in the paint, and then you're going to make the gesture to wave them off. Like, that's disrespectful. Everybody was cool with that. They was laughing at it. Almost like people do Westbrook. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's always been a part of sports. It is what it is. If you a hooper, or, you know what I'm saying, you do anything that's competitive, that's just part of it. Hell, even if I'm sitting there with my kids playing Monopoly, I'm trash talking my kids today, damn near ready to cry. That's part of it. But now all of a sudden people are attacking that young lady personally, on a personal level. And I love how when she got up there after the game, she ain't apologizing for nothing. Because at the end of the day, Caitlin has been disrespectful to all of their opponents. So why now should she have to apologize? Like, that's beyond crazy to me. Beyond crazy. But that's what I'm saying, is like, if you wanted or needed any evidence to prove that this country still has a long way to go, all you got to do is look at the reaction from today's game, which was an amazing game. It's crazy. We knew it wouldn't have been an outrage if Iowa would have won. Absolutely. And that's why I feel like Iowa was America's team this weekend. I hate to put it that way, but it was like everybody, even those that hadn't even been following women's basketball, had tuned in because they wanted to see that success story. Even them little crocodile ass tears she put on in her post game interview. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to her, but I feel like what you get on the court versus what you get after the game is two different people. And it's like some people know how to work that system. So now the narrative has shifted to look at these crazy girls from LSU and how dare they do this to this poor, innocent Iowa team. Even the coach, I feel like she played her role in that. She knew what her comments in regards to the South Carolina girls was going to do. And then when people ask you about it, you throw your hands in there. You pull that victim card. I love the one player from LSU said, Caitlin, you have to respect us now. Respect me. Absolutely. So that's what I'm saying. Is like anybody that's been following the tournament and watching these games, you knew why LSU had that chip on their shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was rooting for Iowa to win, bro, for a multitude of reasons. And that's what I'm saying. You got to start drawing the line in the sand between who was actually watching it because they enjoy sports, who was actually watching it because nobody knew this tournament was going to shape out and pan out to be as great as it was. And then you got those who were watching it because they want to see those black girls lose. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not sugarcoating nothing. A lot of people watched that game because they wanted to see those black girls lose. If you need proof racism in sports in America is apple pie, go to a high school game when a Louisville team plays one of those county teams. We have a long way to go. Trust me, bro. I'm from one of them county schools, man. I've seen it. I've witnessed it firsthand. I remember, bro, back when I was playing, I used to have braids. And one particular game, I couldn't get my hair braided before the game, so I had it froed out. So I'm standing in the tunnel waiting for us to come out for warm-up lines. And we're standing, you know what I'm saying? It was like a tunnel. So the student section, you know, they're standing over us. They're booing, heckling, doing all this and that. And I felt something hit me in the head. And when I looked down, it was a piece of gum. They was trying to drop gum in my hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all know what's going to happen if some gum gets stuck in my hair, bro. You're going to have to get the clippers. It's going to have to be gone. And I'm saying to myself, I've experienced it firsthand. And that's why I enjoy talking about it, because for some, if they've never experienced it, they don't know what it feels like, or they're not able to pick up on the signs. Like, not everybody's just going to come up to you and say, I can't stand you, you NIG, blah, 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 blah. It ain't necessarily going to be that. But that's what I'm saying. You could sense it. You could feel it. Why is Clark getting a pass? It's on record. She's the biggest trash talker in the game right now. Absolutely. So that's why I'm on here, because I'm like, nah, I'm watching this. I'm watching her taunt. I'm watching her do different gestures on the court. And it's like, everybody loved it. That was a success story. Like, everybody started gravitating towards that. But now that it's being done back to her, now her, along with the whole entire team, they're the victims. How dare these big bullies from South Carolina and LSU, how dare they do these girls like that? And I'm just in there like, wait a minute. What? A lot of wonderful people can't see it because of their privilege. Facts, bro. Facts. And that's why I was just like, nah, I ain't letting this one ride, because social media right now is, shoot. Oh, those little counties are terrible. We used to almost get into it every time my son had a football game. It's real. I'm telling y'all right now, man, it's real. I lived it. I saw it. I see it. I tell my wife that all the time. It's like, sometimes I feel like she doesn't necessarily know how to pick up on it. But once I point it out or say different things, then she's like, okay, I can see that now. But that's what I'm saying. Like, don't try to rob those girls from LSU of what they accomplished. Because truth be told, people didn't expect them to be there on that stage. Nobody thought that they would be competing for a national championship. So respect what they done, who they beat to get there, and you tip your cap off to Iowa for the same exact reasons. But I'm going to say this before I get off here. I feel like, in my opinion, that's what's wrong with sports overall. Because as long as Caitlin was winning, everybody was cool with all of the antics. They were cool with how they were winning. After I watched that game against South Carolina, and I saw the box score where she had attempted over 30-something shots. She attempted 17 threes. I said to myself, I'm like, wait a minute. I got mad at South Carolina because I was like, first of all, that's on coaching. Like, there's no way that I'm going to let one player, especially her, attempt 30-something shots. When prior to that, when I watched the Louisville game, I was like, damn, like everybody on this team can shoot. All the girls were contributing. Of course, you know, Clark stood out, but everybody made timely shots. But then on South Carolina, it was like, this is literally a one-woman army. And I'm saying to myself, bro, that's bad basketball in a sense. Yes, for Iowa, I guess it works. That's their formula. She's got the ultimate green light. Cool. But it's like, you look at your Kobe's or your Jordans, and it's like everybody fell in love with that style of play because it was almost like they're the hero. It's Caitlin, it's Kobe, it's Jordan, and then it's everybody else. And I don't necessarily agree with that style of play. I'm not saying I'm glad that they lost. I'm not here to bash Caitlin, but I'm saying to myself, it's like, that's the type of stuff that we glorify. But then if you notice after the game, first thing Reese done was congratulate all of her teammates. And she put emphasis on everybody that contributed. She even spoke about the young lady that was struggling prior to it. You know, last couple of games, you know what I'm saying? She was struggling bad. And then she had a hell of a game today. So it's like, we're going to bury all of that in the dirt to shine a light on her, you know what I'm saying, doing this gesture or pointing towards her finger. I remember last year in the finals, hell, Curry was out there in Boston pointing on his finger. So it's like, we can't pick and choose when we want to be mad. Shout out Chris Rock for the selective outrage special, because I feel like people tend to forget certain things. It's like you only highlight shit when it's people that you actually like. But if it's somebody that you don't like, you're going to find everything wrong with it, even though there's plenty of evidence showing somebody doing the exact same thing. And that's my only beef. It's like, bro, had Caitlin Clark went through this tournament, scored all of her points, and she was humble, then absolutely, LSU wrong. Take your win and go on about your business. But they gave her the same energy that she was giving everybody else. So don't hang your head and pout now. No. You was beating on your chest when y'all was beating folks and y'all was winning. So don't do that bullshit now. It's the LeBron effect. Bro, that's why I'm just sitting there like, I'm watching it like nobody found a problem with one person taking 30-something shots, attempting 17 threes. Don't get me wrong, she's cold. But some of them shots was forced, just throwing up a prayer. The difference in chasing a motherfucker around the court to talk shit, that's crazy that y'all don't see the difference. I don't agree with that. I'm going to go and hit the button.
I disagree.
Shout out Jared. Like, I watched Caitlin run around the court against other opponents, bro. She came down on the Louisville game. She shot the three on the wing and ran back across the court doing all of that, pointing at them. The chick for Louisville said something to her. She pointed up at the scoreboard. She was like, shut up, y'all down by 15. That's the shit that they not going to talk about. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, either A, people are not watching the games. Like, it's on social media afterwards. Like, I don't understand what, like, maybe people are just not paying attention to it the way that I do. I've watched Caitlin go around making gestures and taunt and do all of that the entire game. Like, I don't get the difference. somebody's got to show me the difference between what the LSU girl did and what she's been doing the whole tournament run. KG linked up with Boston and Ray Allen before that dress. All right, so we back on the NBA. Like, I ain't mean to make that comparison. I ain't trying to dive into the NBA talk, but the only reason why I mentioned NBA is because people love Kobe, people love Jordan because it's entertaining to the eye. Watching Caitlin come down and jack up shots was entertaining to the eye because, granted, today she hit 8 threes. People only see what they want to see and what fits their narrative. Exactly. It's like, this is what's entertaining to the eye. It don't matter how many shots she missed. She's going out fighting. She's just jacking. When she has teammates that is just as qualified to shoot the same shots. So it's like, okay, cool. LSU smacked them. If it was a close game, that's different. But LSU smacked them. So regardless of what gestures, regardless of what fouls, regardless of any of that, bro, LSU was the better team today. So what is it that we're talking about? A great game has been watered down for one moment towards the end of the game. And in my opinion, it simply boiled down to keep that same energy. That's why I didn't have a problem with it. I don't have no dog in no fight. Like, I'm not an LSU fan or an Iowa fan. I appreciate what both girls contribute to the sport. At the end of the day, Caitlin Clark is a monster. But so is Angel Reese, bro. 30-plus double-doubles. Like, come on, man. Like, that ain't nothing you just sweep under the rug. You know the difference. Say the quiet thing out loud. Bro, that's what I'm sitting there talking about. It's like, it has literally became a black-white issue when we shouldn't even be focused on that. The whole conversation should be simply about an amazing tournament run by both teams and two great teams hashing it out in the end. LSU was physical from the jump. Iowa hadn't faced a team that played that like that the entire tournament. I agree. I actually thought South Carolina was going to be more physical than what they were, but I feel like Iowa took them out of their game mentally. She was OC. I'm just not big on the trash talk. Respect the game and respect your opponent. That's fair. That's fair. But I just feel like had Caitlin Clark not been doing all the stuff that she's been doing all tournament long, I'm not sure if LSU would have had that same energy. And don't get me wrong, Reese been talking trash all year too. And that's what I like about her. Like, she ain't going to back down from nothing. Even if she's struggling from shooting from the field, she's still going to talk. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, we love when the NBA players do it. They put their hand down, say you too small. Pat Bev just did it. Austin Reeves done it. We celebrated those moments. Everybody was cool with that. But it's not until that narrative comes and it's somebody that you don't like, now all of a sudden it's a problem. I can't think of a college player that talks more trash than Caitlin. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, maybe I'm watching a different game or something, because the whole time I'm watching the games, I was actually cool with it. I'm like, all right, talk your shit out there. Because I know for a fact she trash talked the entire Louisville game. That's why I was taunting the Louisville fans that's on this live. That's a fact. That's why I'm like, I'm not just pulling something out of a hat to try to justify what happened today, bro. I watched it start to finish. And I'm saying to myself, I'm like, bro, she's a stone cold killer out here. Like, nah, she's going in your back and she's telling you about it. So you got to keep that same energy even when you're losing. Oh, man, y'all, I try to keep up with the comments. Oh, Lord. I appreciate y'all chiming into the live, man. Like I said, I just wanted to turn it on to kind of rant and vent, because I know for the next 24 hours, especially tomorrow, Skip and all of them, that's what it's going to turn into now. Not congratulations to LSU and the job that they done and the girls that stepped up and made big shots, because I've been telling my wife, I was like, man, LSU cannot shoot. I was like, they're going to struggle with Iowa because they can't put up the points. And I be damn, them girls come and play lights out, bro, all the way to the end. Morris wanted all the smoke. I'm telling you, bro, that's why I'm saying they shocked the shit out of me. Excuse my language. I was like, that's when you want to congratulate those girls for the job that they done, because when it mattered the most, they stepped up and made big shots. Big shots. They even put up a thing today. It was like the first 5 games, they was like 20-something% from outside the paint. And today they was balling. So it's like, nah, man, you tip your cap and give those girls the credit that they deserve. Who gives a shit what Angel Reese done after the game? I like, nah. Somehow, some way, Caitlin Clark has still become the hero in it all. Like, nah, bro. I'm not cool with that. I'm not cool with that. Not at all. Like I said, you got to be humble. If you're going to be humble while you winning, then you can be humble while you losing. But since she didn't want to use that card and she out here talking shit, all the way to the point to where she caught a cramp the other night, running around the court, jumping up and down and this and that. Like I said, I watch it all from start to finish. I watch the post game. I watch all the reactions. I watch everything just for moments like this, because it's some people that as soon as the game is over, they turn the channel. Look, I BS you not. I just watched the Lakers game. I'm watching the post game right now. I sit here and watch all of them in the locker room after the game is over to hear their view and perspective of what happened during the game, to get the full context of everything. So it's like, bro, like, Iowa got to keep that same energy. I'm sorry. Both teams played well. LSU whole team chimed in to get that. Absolutely. That's why I'm like, nah, them girls deserve all the praise. Don't turn what they accomplish into a sour moment because everybody's in their feelings because Caitlin Clark got her ass beat. Shout out Avery. Caitlin Clark was at the Capitol on January 6th. I'm glad she like, look, you telling me something I ain't know. Are you for real? Are you being serious? There's a Caitlin Clark meme going around and it's obviously fake, but it says none of these niggas can guard me. I did see that one. And I laughed at that one too. But even if that's so, why is an Angel Reese job to taunt Caitlin back to defense or everybody else focus on winning and happily with your team? I don't understand. Dog. We might have to talk about that in person. I might have to get you to call in or something and do a whole separate one, because overall, I understand what you're saying. Be a good sport. We all, of course, I wouldn't teach my son to go out here and trash talk. Shout out Coach. He's on here too. We was in a championship game, and soon as the first quarter started, we went up big. Our kids is out here flexing this and that. I looked right over to him in his face. I said, oh, hell, here we go. We finna be on that. You try to talk to these kids and tell them not to showboat, not to taunt, not to do those things. But it's like, bro, how can you tell them when you look on TV and you see your favorite player doing it? You see Westbrook doing this. You see Pat Bev and them doing the too small. You see John Morant and them flexing after they dunk on somebody. It's like, bro, that's just where we at right now. But it's like, I'm not going to sit here and give Clark a pass when I've seen her do the same thing. Now, if people want to say it was overboard, her making sure she saw her do this and point to her finger, then cool. Cool. I'm not here to debate how long she should have done it or to what extent. But at the same time, bro, if you dish it, you got to be able to take it. Reese said it. I'm from Baltimore. Trash talking is what we do. That's absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Like, I gravitated towards watching her play because no matter if she had 10 points or 20 points, she was the same player. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just part of it. Clark had no issues with it. You don't have to teach him. It comes naturally. You just have to be able to take it. Absolutely. Like, if you're going to talk it, you got to handle it when the shoe is on the other foot. That's how I see it. That's why I was just like, bro, don't ruin a great moment because of one situation. Like, that whole entire game is going to be overshadowed by what happened towards the end. And I honestly, in my opinion, I feel like even if she didn't do that, I'm reading comments now about how it was the refs against Iowa and blah, blah, blah. Like, people had different motives for why they wanted Iowa to win. And since they lost, we see what was going to happen. It was going to happen regardless, in my opinion. Y'all can agree or disagree, but I just feel like two great teams with two amazing players turned into a racial issue regardless of who won. Because if Iowa would have won, then I honestly feel like it would have been the same exact conversation, just the shoes on the other foot. Shout out JoJo. Iowa got beat fair and square. I agree wholeheartedly. Like, they was down by 20 at halftime. So, bro, like, it wasn't nothing that was gonna change that. I understand foul trouble played a part. But if I'm Clark, you got to understand the moment. I got 3 fouls. Regardless of whether or not I'm in my feelings and frustrated, I can't pick up that technical. Because in college, that's also a personal foul. So she didn't do her team any justice by her own gestures. And that shows you right there. That's the proof right there that she's an emotional basketball player too. Because when she got mad, she took the ball, threw the damn ball. So what are we talking about? Even if Reese didn't do that, we were still calling those girls thugs, bar bullies. Exactly. That's why I said, for those that haven't been listening from the very beginning, I brought up what was said for the South Carolina girls. And that's why I'm saying it's like, bro, like, soon as Iowa played South Carolina, that's when them conversations started changing, and it turned into something else. What technical? Clark picked up a tech for throwing the ball, and that's how she picked up her 4th foul in the 3rd quarter. And you playing with 4 fouls, you can't play as aggressive as you normally are, because we all know she likes to push off to clear some of that space to get them shots up. But that's the thing people are not talking about either. Her shot selection is questionable. I don't care how great she is, coming down, jacking up a shot, fading to your left from 30 feet, like, it's not a good shot. So at the end of the day, kudos to LSU for coming down, making timely baskets, mid-range jumper after mid-range, and you got to live with the results. And I'm going to get ready to get off here. I ain't going to keep repeating myself, because purple and gold is victorious all day today. Shout out to LSU and shout out to the Lakers. We got the Clippers tomorrow. They win. They in 6th place. Got the Jazz twice, along with Phoenix. They beat Phoenix. Might move up one more notch. Lakers got a shot at what, 5th, 4th maybe? So ain't nobody bringing me down today, man. We ending this on a good note, but I absolutely wanted to talk about it because I love sports. And I love sports enough to where I watch men's and women's basketball. So I'm simply stating, do not ruin what was a great women's tournament because of what happened in a 5-second span. Like, that's just part of it. I'm giving Reese a pass because at the end of the day, Clark is not innocent. Talk draft in the playoffs. I'm with it. Go Celtics. Oh, I know you ready to get off this live. Y'all ready to get off here with that. I gotta see the matchups first. I ain't gonna make no playoff predictions yet. I gotta make sure the Lakers get in there first. But I will say this. The Lakers shouldn't be scared of nobody. I'm pretty sure don't nobody want to play the Lakers. Definitely not in no first round. Boston is balling. I ain't gonna front. I thought the whole little coach situation that happened at the beginning of the year was gonna be a distraction for them, but that just shows you that Boston is a great team. Go Cavs. Cleveland's balling. So yeah, NBA playoffs gonna be good this year. Hopefully it stacks up to the women's tournament run. That's how I'm gonna end it, because like I said, that was a great display of basketball. So kudos to all those teams. That's all you can ask for. 2 great teams going out, leaving it all on the floor, and somebody had to lose. Unfortunately, it was Iowa. But I just hate how people have already spun this into black versus white. Don't sit here and disrespect those young ladies and call them thugs. And like I said, because she did this, now she's gonna be on welfare and she's gonna be on this and like, nah, people are so ugly. People are so nasty. So need to get LA to 100%. Nah, that's on coaching. After this, I'm done. Like, I will never understand. You got a 20-something point lead, knowing you got a back-to-back, and then you leave AD out there, knowing that he's one twisted ankle away from being done till next year. I didn't see what happened to D-Lo. Saw he didn't play the second half. So, yeah, you're right. Got to get him healthy. They need to get a solid rotation, man. I'm tired of them. I feel like 15 people come in every night. I'm sick of it. Got to build some chemistry. Because I still hate, they defend when they want to. I don't like that. Like, at some point in time, like, man, it ain't nothing but 4 games left. At some point, we need to know who y'all are. And using 12 people in your rotation, that ain't it. That ain't going to be it. But anyways, man, I definitely appreciate y'all chiming in on the live, man. Like I said, I wanted to touch on that real quick because the media's already spinning it. Pay attention to the social media, Bleacher Report. Hell, the Shade Room was talking about, like, this right here is the perfect opportunity to create more attention, in my opinion. And blogs and media and things like that, they're going to feast off of that because they know that it's going to cause a racial divide. It already has. And I'm like, dog, like, don't disrespect those young ladies for what they accomplish, knowing that we saw Iowa do the same exact thing. Like don't do that. So I'm curious to know how ESPN is going to pick it up tomorrow, how Fox Sports is going to pick it up tomorrow. Trying to think, what's old buddy's name? Not Marcellus Wiley, the other dude. He made a post about it, and he made the little caption, "It's cool when they do it, it's a problem when I do it." And they are going ham on his post. They are already setting up the narrative for next season. Caitlin Clark redemption. I'm telling you, bro, it's coming. It's coming. And I'm curious to see it. So like I said, shout out to those young women. I think UConn gonna smack them tomorrow, man. I ain't know UConn was that big like that. I really hadn't watched UConn play for real this year. Even in the tournament, I really didn't watch their games. But I watched it last night. And them some big boys. Them some big boys down there. So hopefully it'll live up to today's game, because even though LSU won big in a sense, it was still electrifying. Like, you could just feel the energy. You just knew Caitlin was going to wheel them back. But, you know what I'm saying, LSU was just a better team today. So appreciate y'all. Y'all know the routine. Like, share, subscribe, comment. I'm almost at 325, 330 subscribers. I did a TikTok with the same sentiments. UConn. Yeah, UConn just too big, bro. I don't think they got what it takes. Like, they trying to talk about San Diego State's defense and this. I'm like, nah, bro. Because they was killing Miami down low. Wasn't nothing they could do inside. But shout out to those that grabbed the T-shirt. I see Ease on the live. We getting that together now. Got a couple shirts I got to drop off tomorrow. So, again, I appreciate the love and support. Again, hit that like, share, subscribe. Listen to the podcast on streaming services. Most definitely check it out on YouTube. Got some good conversations coming up, man. And we out.
Ass toasted, no competition. I'm Nisha coasting. I feel so